Leonardo da Vinci was born on April 15, 1452, in the village of Vinci, a small town nestled in the rolling hills in the Tuscan region of modern-day Italy. His full birth name was Leonardo di Ser Piero da Vinci, meaning Leonardo, son of Ser Piero from Vinci. His father was a wealthy notary, and his mother Caterina was a poor peasant girl, possibly even a slave from the Middle East. Because his parents weren't married, Leonardo was considered illegitimate, but this turned out to be a blessing in disguise. Unlike his father's legitimate sons, he wasn't expected to follow in the family profession. Instead, he was free to explore whatever path he wanted, and that freedom would shape one of the most creative minds in history. Leonardo spent his first 5 years in the hamlet of Anciano with his father, grandparents, and uncle Francesco. He did not receive a formal school education, though tutors taught him the basics of reading, writing, and mathematics. He reportedly struggled with concentration. His uncle Francesco and grandfather encouraged his curious mind and power of observation by sending him out to study local flora and fauna, a trait that became the driving force behind so many of Leonardo da Vinci's great discoveries and inventions. Around 1464, Leonardo moved to Florence with his father. At approximately age 14 or 16, he became an apprentice at the famous art workshop of Andrea del Verrocchio. Although not a major innovator or creator of contemporary art in Florence, Verrocchio was a leading craftsman in goldsmithing, sculpture, and painting. This period was vital, as Florence was the center of the intellectual and artistic revolution known as the Renaissance, fostered by the ruling Medici clan. At Verrocchio's studio, he gained knowledge not only in painting and sculpting, but also in chemistry, mechanics, and architectural drafting. It wasn't long before Leonardo had absorbed everything Verrocchio could teach, and may even have exceeded his master's skill. By 1472, when he was only 20 years old, Leonardo became a qualified master in the Painters Guild, though he remained attached to and collaborated with Verrocchio for years. The Baptism of Christ, designed by Verrocchio for the monks of Vallombrosa, can now be seen at the Uffizi Gallery in Florence. According to Giorgio Vasari and other scholars, the kneeling angel on the left and parts of the background landscape were painted by Leonardo. When it comes to Leonardo's love life, things are far more mysterious. He never married, and there's no record of him ever being romantically involved with a woman. Court records from 1476 show Leonardo and 3 other young men were charged with sodomy involving a male prostitute. After spending 2 months in prison, he was declared innocent due to a lack of evidence. Because of this event and his lifelong closeness to 2 of his male assistants, Salai and Francesco Melzi, many historians believe Leonardo was gay. Over his lifetime, Leonardo filled more than 13,000 pages with notes and sketches, about 7,000 of which still survive. He wrote almost all of his personal notes in mirror writing from right to left to prevent smudging, since he was left-handed. Leonardo left Florence for Milan in 1482 to serve Ludovico Sforza, the Duke of Milan. Although he hoped to work as a military engineer, he was initially hired as an artist, musician, and theater producer. He designed countless revolutionary machines, far ahead of the technology available at the time. During this time, Leonardo created some of his most celebrated works, including The Virgin of the Rocks and The Last Supper. He was also commissioned to design an enormous bronze horse, the Gran Cavallo, as a tribute to Francesco Sforza. Leonardo spent years perfecting its design, but in 1494, the 66 tons of bronze reserved for the statue were instead melted down to forge cannons for the war against the French. He became fascinated with flight, observing and studying birds in great detail, and also began his first studies of human anatomy around 1488. A year later, When Louis XII of France invaded Milan, Leonardo fled to Venice with his assistant Salai and friend Luca Pacioli, working briefly as a military engineer. Leonardo moved back to Milan in 1506. During this time, he deepened his study of anatomy, dissecting over 30 bodies and creating more than 240 detailed anatomical drawings. He also met Francesco Melzi, who became his closest companion and stayed with him until the end of his life. From 1513 to 1516, Leonardo lived in the Vatican in Rome. Many historians believe he completed his final painting, St. John the Baptist, at Clos Lucé, a work often seen as the culmination of his mastery of the sfumato technique. Leonardo da Vinci died at Clos Lucé on May 2, 1519, at the age of 67, most likely from a recurrent stroke. He was buried in the chapel of Saint-Hubert within the Château d'Amboise. According to his will, 60 beggars followed his casket. Francesco Melzi was named his principal heir and executor, receiving Leonardo's money, books, tools, and paintings, including the Mona Lisa. He also left portions of his vineyard to his pupil Salai and his servant Battista di Vilusis, while granting land to his brothers and a black cloak to his serving woman. This closing chapter of Leonardo's life shows that even as his artistic output waned, his intellectual curiosity never dimmed. Until the end, he remained the quintessential Renaissance mind, widely regarded as the most universal genius in human history. Leonardo da Vinci completed fewer than 20 paintings over his lifetime, a remarkably small number for such an influential artist, yet each one is considered a masterpiece. These early paintings reveal his swift artistic development during his years in Florence. The Annunciation, believed to be his first independent work, already shows his fascination with light and perspective. A few years later, he painted Ginevra de' Benci, his earliest commissioned portrait and the only Leonardo painting displayed in the Americas. His Lady with an ermine, portraying Cecilia Gallerani, the mistress of Ludovico Sforza, reflects his growing mastery in capturing both realism and inner emotion. After years of study and invention, Leonardo's artistic legacy came to be defined by a handful of extraordinary works, paintings that not only demonstrated his technical brilliance, but also reshaped the course of Western art. Among them, two stand above all others: the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper. Painted between 1503 and 1505, the painting is the most celebrated example of Leonardo's sfumato technique, a method of softening transitions between light and color to mimic how the eye perceives focus. After Leonardo's death, the painting passed to his assistant Salai, who later sold it to the King of France. If the Mona Lisa reveals Leonardo's mastery of emotion and technique, the Last Supper showcases his genius for composition and storytelling. Painted between 1495 and 1498 on the wall of a Milanese monastery, it captures the dramatic moment when Christ reveals that one of his apostles will betray him. His experimental use of oil on plaster, intended to achieve delicate shading, caused the work to deteriorate within decades. Beyond his paintings, Leonardo's sketches and notebooks contain some of his most profound artistic ideas. The Vitruvian Man reflects the Renaissance belief in harmony between the human form and the cosmos, depicting a man within a circle and square, symbolizing the union of heaven and earth. Leonardo intended to publish his notebooks in 1498, but he never did, leaving most of his discoveries hidden until long after his death. Historians suggest that if his work had been widely shared during his lifetime, it could have changed the course of science and technology entirely. From his revolutionary artworks that redefined painting, perspective, and human emotion, to his notebooks filled with scientific insights and inventions far ahead of their time, Leonardo da Vinci continues to inspire countless generations. His life exemplifies the power of curiosity, observation, and relentless pursuit of knowledge, leaving a legacy that transcends centuries and touches every field of human creativity and understanding.